is this the default A320? Yes, it is. KGW plays. I know a lot of people don't like it just because of how basic it is, but it's an enjoyable aircraft for me because I like simple things. I really like LVFR. Of course, I have Xbox, so I don't have access to Phoenix or Phoenix, whatever you pronounce it. The Airbus is over there. I really like Inibuild's Airbus. I think I have their A320. Of course, by default, the V2. But yeah, the reason why I'm flying the default one today is because I am flying this livery. I love it. Over to San Francisco from Burbank, and again, unfortunately, I wanted to get a payware airport for Burbank, but unfortunately, there's not one available for the Xbox marketplace, so that kind of sucks. So it is what it is. So yeah, and there's no stair thing, so that's kind of unrealistic. But you know what? Let's imagine here, right? Yep, I'm on Xbox. Yeah, I used to fly on PC a little bit, but the PC that I was flying on was a work computer, so it was definitely not fitted to flight simulator. It was a work computer, and yeah, it was very choppy. The graphics card was awful, and I thought Xbox would be a better shot, and so far it's been awesome. There are some times where I wish I was flying on a PC where I could have, you know, some fun payware that you can get off of Flight Sim TO and other different websites for freeware, but again, it is what it is. I got to work with what you have, and I'm enjoying it, man. So let me get my checklist up here. So alrighty, I think we put everything down there. I think that's it. So all you have to do is this simple stuff. Yeah, Xbox is good when it wants to be. Yeah. Okay, so battery switches are on. Okay, generators are on. Yes. Switches. APU master on. Alrighty. Give that a second to ramp up. I have, yeah, I think I tried flying the Volaris. I did this a couple weeks ago. I flew Volaris A320 Neo V2 or version 2. It's a little bit different. There's a few things that's a little bit different, like the tiller. That was a little bit weird when I first tried it out. But again, you just got to make sure that's on, I believe, the yes instead of no, because if it's on no, your rudder's gonna do some weird things. The autopilot can be very tricky on that airplane, so I don't know why it does that. Looks like we got a bot here. Let me block that. Perfect. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get rid of that guy. But anyways, yeah, I have tried it and I enjoyed it. The winglets on the version 2 I think are a little bit more realistic than the default Asobo A320, but that might be just me. I don't know. But it, it's fine. Okay, that is available. So we can turn on the APU bleed. Give that a few seconds. Yeah. I thought that the version 2 or the V2 was the same, just like different looks, but no, it's a little bit different. But I love the version 2 because like it has dirty windows, which is pretty pretty accurate to real life airplanes, you know. But yeah, I mean that's not a bad view right there. I like the sound inside of that. So okay, AP master's on, switch is on, APU bleed is on. Okay, now we can turn off external power. Alright. Since we're on the APU, I want to make sure lights are good. We'll be turning the beacon on in a minute before we start our engines. Let's turn on our seatbelt signs and the smoking light. Yeah, a lot of this is not functional, obviously, since it's default. But I think this is, I like how Asobo did this because there's a lot of new people that are getting into aviation, and it, you know, it's simple for them. So I like that aspect to it because, again, when I first flew on the Xbox, I was completely lost. I had no idea how to use an Xbox controller because I'm a PS4 person or PS5 person. So my first flight, I'll be honest, was pretty rough. I think everything's set to go. Okay, APU bleed on, external power's off, fuel pumps can be turned on. Let's imagine that the door is closed and the baggage compartments, that is set to go. Okay, so I think we're pretty much set to go. Let's start setting this up. I think we're going to climb out to about 10,000 feet to start off, and then since we're going to be heading west a little bit, northwest to San Fran, I think we're going to obviously go up to an even number. I'm thinking like 28,000 feet. It should be about a 40-ish minute flight. Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought it was a monitor, so I took a claw to it. Yeah, said attach a mouse and keyboard for Xbox makes. Yeah, I'm in a very small setup. I don't even have. Well, I do have a table, but where I live, you know, I don't have a lot of room. But once I get an apartment, eventually down the line, down the road, I plan on having it set up for my gaming setup with my PS5 and my Xbox, and then getting a nice little keyboard and mouse. And the nice thing too is that you can use that along with your Xbox controller, so it kind of maximizes your experience, right? So, but meanwhile, my TV monitor's on the floor right now, and I'm just kind of relaxing. But yeah, eventually I'd love to hook a webcam up to my little TV monitor here. It's a old Toshiba monitor, but it still works pretty well. Okay, so I think we're ready for pushback here. Let me go up to speed. We're going to go up to about 220. Of course, we're going to do the manual thrust takeoff. But yeah, I'm super excited because in the next couple of weeks, I do this every year. I did this a little bit last year, but I went to a couple different places internationally. I went down, I kind of traveled through the Caribbean last March and April. I went down to, I think, Cuba, Jamaica, St. Martin, Dominican Republic. That was a whole lot of fun. And that was back when I was on the PC. And the graphics weren't as good, where now I have, I think, ultra high graphics on the Xbox here, which is automatically set to that. But yeah, in the next couple of weeks I'll be flying for the very first time ever, which I have yet to do ever on a flight simulator, even going back to FSX, even though I tried to do at one point. I've never flown to Hawaii, so I'll be doing that in a couple weeks. I'll be flying from San Fran to Honolulu on the 747. So yes, I am using 4K. I'm pretty sure I am. I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure I'm using 4K. Most definitely. I started with my controller, 55-inch TV, and a single-seater recliner lull, and if you watch my brother Ryan over at FNL Aviator, I think that's where you're from. If not, welcome on in. But yeah, he kind of has the same setup as you do. It sounds like he has a couple monitors and a throttle setup, and that's something I would love to get. It does take time and money, but you know, yeah. Oh, 747. Are you talking about the Asobo 47? Because that's the one I'll be using. But I was able to get the 787 for Asobo. I think with 2024 now, they've been releasing some of the aircraft separately, which I think is a great thing, because I just didn't want to pay for, because I have the standard edition, and I didn't feel like paying like 70 or 80 or 90 bucks for the edition that has the 87. But when I saw this on the marketplace, I'm like, you know, I need to get this because I love the 87, and I plan on doing some really cool flights with that, continental flights on that. So okay, let's turn on our beacon. Our passengers are waiting. Let's turn on our nav lights. We'll wait to turn on our strobes once we start taxiing, and we'll turn on the other lights once we start moving around. So I think we're ready to go, so let's tell the tower we're ready for pushback here. Again, you know, compared to my brother Ryan at FNL Aviator on his streams, whenever you watch them, Ryan has P3D. Of course, I have the 2020. I do fly 2024. I'm starting to get into that a little bit more. But yeah, if you've watched my streams before, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, you guys will know that I am a very simple person when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'll admit it's not the most realistic. Like, I fly this thing pretty much manually, but that's something I really enjoy. I don't know why, I just like doing things manually. Like, I don't use the FMC a whole lot, even though it's very unrealistic to not use that, because you always use that as a pilot. It's I won't work. Are you kidding me? Okay, that's one of the things I hate about airports like this. Like, there's no pushback in there. Like this. Okay. Well, I'm trying to think, what should I do? Do I just go into the buildings? Like, what do I do here? That's frustrating. Very, very frustrating. This is the time when I wish I had the A320 version 2, or either PMDG, or yeah, the default, both the 747 and 87 very stuttery, so I use PMDGs. Yeah, I really want to get the PMDG 777. I have the PMDG 737, 700, and 800, so I just need to get the 900. Pull reverse that thing, yeah. Yeah, the airline, yeah, I know. I know it sounds silly, because, like, Ryan has been telling me, hey, I need to use the FMC right here. I need to put stuff in. I remember, I think I watched his tutorial videos, and I started doing it, but there's just a whole lot. I mean, I guess it just takes time, and maybe, again, I plan on doing this eventually, learning how to put in the numbers and the things, but it's just like, I was just like, can't I just fly this like old school, kind of like old school FSX? Because if you remember, like, you could have nav and GPS, and it would automatically align you on the like the little map, if you remember. And it's just like, we're here, it's more realistic, and that's the great thing about the new sims, right? You know, it's more manual, hands-on, instead of like just straight up let you know, having the airplane fly for you. But I don't know. I just kind of miss that. That's what I did growing up on FSX. So, um, and I like it's weird, but it's just the way I like flying it. And I don't know. Maybe it's good practice because what if I'm a passenger eventually down the road, and something happens to the captain or co-pilot or both, and I have to fly this plane manually. So good practice. Yeah, I've heard about that with the weather for the airplanes. So you know what? I don't care about these built. Well, I'm not sure if I'll go through these. I might. I don't know. Full reverse. I might actually pick up on that thing. I might do it full reverse. You know what? Let's just. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm trying to remember. How do you slew mode? How do you do that on Xbox? Is there a way I can do that? Again, like, I wish they were doing a little bit better on Xbox. Like, I wish they could do a little bit more things on Xbox. Like, I don't know. There's just some things that I wish that they could do, do better. But okay, so you know what? I'm just gonna start my engines right here. I'm gonna blow the ears off of some of the people on the ground here, and I'm gonna start my engines and then just like roll to the left. So let's imagine that we just pushed back. So we don't need to turn off our parking brakes yet. So let's turn on our lights, which they're already on. Beacon lights are on. Let me double check that. Yes. Okay, now let's go over to engine mode. Turn that to ignition start and start number 2. So yeah, that's a simmer's dream. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a scary situation because I mean you have souls on board, but still like every flight simmer wants to help out. If there's a emergency or whatever, right? So swag down the aisle, grabbing a Jack Daniels on the way to cockpit. Yeah, okay, I'll have to look into that because again, like airports like Burbank here, in the default scenery, you need airports like that, especially where, my home airport, like my brother, I fly out of FNL, Northern Colorado Regional Airport, and we, in the sim, we don't have a tug. Well, I think we do, it's just for like general aviation planes, so. But yeah, but I'll tell you what, I have, and again, you'll have to see on some of my other streams once I do them, but I have a bunch of the payware airports like today, like we'll be flying to San Francisco. I have the Flight Beam San Francisco Airport, which they just recently updated like a few days ago. I'm super excited about that. I love San Francisco, the approach coming in over the water. So the Burbank part will be the only worst part in terms of scenery, because once we get up in the air and land in San Francisco, it's going to be awesome. Okay, engine number 1, I mean, it should be number 2 is set. Let's start engine number 1. Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to definitely look into that, getting that tool there, because it could definitely be useful. But yeah, if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, welcome on in. Glad you could join me today on today's flight from Burbank to San Francisco. This is my very first time being in Burbank. I landed in here yesterday, did not stream that. Glad I didn't stream it because the approach into runway 15 was not pretty, because if you've ever landed into Burbank in real life or on the sim, you guys know that basically final approach you have to dive because there's mountains on approach, and once you hit those mountains or once you reach those mountains, you basically have to dive down pretty quickly. Like you have to do a steep drop, And those mountains are about 5,000 feet up, and Burbank is right around sea level. So you have to drop 5,000 feet in between like 2 minutes, roughly, give or take. And so yeah, it's a very tricky approach, and I will not lie, I had to go around a couple times. It was frustrating because I feel like I'm a better pilot than that. I've been flying this, this sim for a while, so but yeah, it's good practice, but it's just like, yeah, I don't want to do that ever again. So I'm kind of hoping that, of course, we don't have to worry about that today because the Airbus 320 takes off pretty well and pretty quickly. So I'm gonna double check here, because one thing I like to do is I go to Flight Radar 24, the app, and I like to look at real life flights and see what runways are active, right? For takeoff or landing. So I'm gonna do that right now. Where's Burbank? It's near Lancaster. There we go. I found it. Okay. Let me see here. Looks like there's a Southwest plane that's taxiing to 15. Okay, looks like they're using runway 15 right now for takeoff. So we're going to do that. So we're going to land, we're going to take off on the runway that we landed on yesterday. So we'll do that. Okay, engines both are good, up and running. Fuel's good. Of course, I have unlimited fuel on that, but okay, now we can turn off the APU bleed since we have our engines running. Master is off, and then we can go back down to engine mode, turn that back to normal setting. Double check here. So yeah, everything's good there. Alrighty. Do our flaps here. Perfect. Yep. Yeah, we use HG, yeah. Okay, let's have fun here. Let's break some people's eardrums here, and let's make this turn. So let's turn off the parking brake. Flaps are good. Okay, let me line this here. One nice thing, though, KGW plays, is that when I first started, I was just, on the Xbox, I was just using the Xbox controller. Now I have the Thrustmaster's throttle for Xbox. And that, I'll tell you what, that is a game changer, because Ryan gave me, because I remember when he was at college years ago in California, he used to fly FSX on his computer, and he had the PlayStation Thrustmaster controller, and he gave that to me and my brother for the PC, and I used that. And so I was like trying to use that for Xbox, and it wasn't working, and so I had to I did research, and I'm like, oh, I have to get the Xbox version of the Thrustmasters, T Flight HOTAS X, I think it's called. So but yeah, it's a game changer, and honestly, like, if somebody's flying Xbox, they definitely need to have a T-Flight HOTAS stick, because it's just, the controller's impossible. Like, you can do it for general aviation, but even for general aviation, sometimes I'll use this. So, oh, 100%, yeah. Again, it's just like more real. I love the throttle feeling and the rudder. Like, you just, but I don't know why. It's very frustrating, because again, I have 2024, and of course they just came out with update 1, but for some reason my rudder settings reset to back to where it was not working, so I had to basically redo that. So that was frustrating a little bit. It's just like, why would you guys do that? But again, I get it. They're still working on it, And you know, I was talking to Ryan and I have been talking about this a long time. Is that 2024 is going to be a really good sim. It might be even better than 2020. It's just that it's going to take a while, because like it's a massive project that's probably going to be more massive than this sim. It's just, we got to be patient. And I will admit, I was one of those people that, you know, did one of those goodbye flights on 2020 and said, hey, I'm going to start flying on 2024 every day now. And it's just like, I kind of regret saying that, because it wasn't a great start. But I think they're doing a good job. And it's kind of sad seeing all these people bash on the creators and the people over at Asobo and Microsoft Flight Sim, because I think they're doing a great job. It's just that there's a whole lot to do. I mean, there's literally millions of people trying to do this at the same time, right? And oh, that's a gorgeous view. I'm going to take a screenshot. So I think they're doing a great job. We just got to be patient, and I'm not in a huge rush, because again, I love MSFS 20. I love it so much. It's just, I mean, again, it's gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, there are some things about the sim that, like, they could have done better, like the graphics in some areas. Like, there's trees on the taxiways. Like, okay, that's not really realistic, but yeah. Yep. Did you find the rudders on lock and can't steer? Yeah. I don't know why my Airbus is stopping. I think it's just because my thing here. I was able to find that, and I fixed it. I think you basically have to, like for instance, the rudder, you had to change up the settings a little bit, almost like reset it pretty much. That's what I did. I think I turned off rudder axis, and I just had like rudder left axis, rudder right axis, and that was it. And it started working again, which is kind of odd, but it's working again now, so that's good. I did that too. Did my last long haul from Heathrow to Orlando, but MS was a bust. Yeah, I flew MS. I flew 2024 the other day from Phoenix to Denver on the Max 37, and that was a good flight. It's just that it's still choppy. Like if I go outside the aircraft and I walk around, it's just like, yeah, it's still weird. But again, it looks fantastic. The engines of the 737 MAX 8 is just gorgeous. Next to the Airbus 319 CO, I love the MAX 37's engines on takeoff. It's just a beautiful sound. I love it. Airbus 320's engines are fine, like the Neos, like the one I'm flying right now. The engines are good, but it's not my favorite. Yeah, they haven't optimized it yet, so that kind of stinks. So, but yeah, I mean, as of every video game out there, I mean, a lot of them do PC first or console first. I mean, well, I should say PC, especially for PC and console. A lot of them do PC first, like Flight Simulator, and then they go to Xbox. So, again, that's just one of the perks of having a PC. But you know, again, I don't mind waiting. I'm a patient person. But one thing I am excited for, because I'm just like, I've been waiting for this airplane for a long time, and unfortunately on Xbox they don't have this aircraft, because I think it's only for PC. Because I really wanted the CRJ 700 for Aerosoft. I really wanted that aircraft, because arguably it's one of my most favorite planes ever. But again, it's only for PC. But I think it's confirmed that the ERJ 145 flight for I think it's Flight FX, right? Something like that. They made the Vision Jet, I think. But they're coming out with the Embraer 145, which I am super pumped about, because that is my favorite regional jet of all time. I've been on that airplane numerous times in real life. When I went down to college, down to Pensacola, when I would connect in Houston. Okay, I Of course, I have traffic off, I think, on the sim. Or at least I think I do. Okay, let's shut her down here just for a second. Double check, make sure, look at our free takeoff checklist here. But yeah, going back to the ERJ 145, I'm just so looking forward to that, because I'm a person that I usually don't do the long haul flights from like Denver to London Heathrow or Tokyo or Honolulu. However, I will be doing something like that. Again, I'll be flying from San Fran to Honolulu in a few weeks. But, you know, for somebody that works a lot, like I work quite a bit, you know, to do like 45 minutes to an hour flight on the 145 is going to be awesome. And I hope that they come out soon. But again, given what they've talked about and what they've mentioned, it sounds like it's going to take a little bit of time. They are obviously developing it still, but from what I've heard, they're actually doing really good progress on that. As soon as my PC arrives, I'm on to the A350, seeing very good. Yeah, I've heard really good reviews on that. I really want to get the Airbus 380. That would be awesome. I love the A380. Just a beautiful aircraft. Love the sound of the engines too on the 380. That's another good airplane with some good engines. Okay, double check everything. Okay, now we can turn on strobes. We kind of forgot it. Let's turn on our takeoff lights here. Take off our landing lights. And of course we'll retract those once we get in the air. Strobes are on auto. We don't need the wing lights on. It's not cloudy today. I think we're good there. Heading, let's do runway heading. We're gonna do 151. Okay, 28,000 feet. Well, actually, you know what? Why did I go? We're gonna climb up to 10,000, then we'll make our way up to 28,000 today. Perfect. That's set. Flight directors, double check those are on. Alright, let's do this. I think we're good to go. Should I do Air Force style, or should I just like do the slow roll? I know sometimes I'll do the Air Force style where you just do tap and hold the brakes. And Burbank here is a shorter runway, so you kind of have to get this thing off the ground pretty quickly. Try to stay on the center line here. 120. Positive rate. Gear coming up. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. A little bit of a steeper takeoff, but I do that on purpose just because I think in real life they do steeper takeoffs out of here because, again, you're over neighborhoods and everything, and people don't necessarily like loud airplanes here at Burbank. So I always hold the brakes and bring up my thrust to 50%. Let the engines. Yep. Yeah. Usually do that. Flaps can go up. But yeah, I always love the views, especially out of California. Oh, there's the Griffith Observatory. But yeah, just gorgeous views here in the Los Angeles area. Okay, let's slow down here. There going a little bit too fast. That was my mistake. Let's go about to 250 here. And then we'll start making our turn up to San Francisco. But I love the haze here in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful, little bit of beautiful scenery. That's why I'm looking forward to coming in here, because I think when I fly back to the United States domestically from Hawaii, I think I'll be flying from Honolulu to Los Angeles on the United 787. So, yep, yeah. So it's always a toga on Xbox, yeah. Okay, perfect. There's Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. Again, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, welcome on in. Glad you could be aboard this United flight to San Francisco from Burbank, Bob Hope Airport. Let's go about 31. Yeah. But if you've been following the Steve Guy Gaming channels, you guys know that I love baseball and I love MLB The Show, so I'm super excited to announce that tonight MLB The Show will be releasing, and I plan on doing some streams for that. Probably not tonight, because I think when it releases it'll be like 10 p.m. my time here in Colorado, but probably tomorrow. We'll see. So stay tuned for that. Okay, we're at 10,000 feet. We can get ready to go up to about 300 knots here. Oh yeah, LAX. Yeah, it's tough to beat LAX. Again, San Francisco is definitely one of my favorites, but you know, LAX again, you can't really beat LAX. Yeah, it's just amazing. Even New York, like Manhattan, you know, Newark, especially Newark. Newark is a beautiful, beautiful approach because you got downtown Manhattan as a view. Okay, now let's climb up to about 20,000 feet, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, our cruising altitude today, folks, will be 28,000 feet, and obviously we're heading west, so that number will be even. If we were heading east, I believe we were, I mean, it depends on the wind, I think, but yeah, if we were heading east, it would be an odd number. So since it's going to be a pretty short flight today, again, it's roughly about 40 to 50 minute flight today to San Fran, so we're going to do that. That's gorgeous. I love looking at the buildings down there. Alright, let's turn off some of these lights here. Okay, let's climb up to... Should be a little bit here. About 300. Oh, do 295. Anchorage, yeah. I haven't flown into Anchorage in a while, but I think I'm my schedule. I need to double check on my schedule because I have it on my phone, and I think I might actually be flying into Anchorage here in a little bit. Because today we're gonna do only one flight today. I think we're gonna fly obviously to San Francisco, but I want to say we're gonna fly from San Francisco to Portland, and then from Portland to LAX, and then maybe I think it might be LAX to Albuquerque. But yeah, Anchorage. I usually fly up to Anchorage for Christmas every year. I actually stream that on here in YouTube in December. Anchorage, I mean those mountains, man. Like if you're taking off to the west, oh my goodness, it's just incredible. Especially on those milk runs for Alaska Airlines, it's gorgeous. Yeah, I went up to Barrow, Alaska for the second time this past Christmas because, again, I kind of do it traditionally. And I think Ryan has done it a couple times on his streams in the past couple years. I don't know if he did it this year, but yeah, I do that kind of once a year, for Christmas. I have thought about flying up to Alert, Canada, because technically that is the northernmost point in the world, or the northernmost airport in the world, and that is more technically closer to the North Pole, obviously. So I've thought about doing that, but that's going to take a little bit more time because you have to go up into really North Canada, right? So I think if I ever do that, I definitely want to leave Colorado, probably late November, early December, the first week. Yeah, Anchorage. Anchorage can be, I mean, if you're coming from the east, you have to be a little bit careful because there are some mountain ranges, but you just don't want to come near the coastline because those coastline mountains can get you. And you don't want to be coming into Anchorage on a blizzard or snowstorm because it's very low visibility, and yeah, it can be a little bit crazy and scary. I think the hardest approach was actually, when I was up there in Alaska, was actually, I think it might have been Cordova, Alaska. Yakutat, no, not Yakutat. Yakutat is pretty easy. Ketchikan can be a little bit tricky because it's kind of like of course it's right out the water, but it's, you have some islands in the area, and so it's very easy to, kind of lose yourself a little bit, but again, it's not too bad. But yeah, Anchorage is definitely a little bit tricky because, again, it's just, one side it's a bunch of mountains, the other side is it's water and whatever, so but generally a lot of airplanes usually come in on I want to say is it 1.5 in Anchorage? Yeah, nose punched into the snore. Yeah, it's also too, it's sometimes your speed coming into Anchorage is a little bit quick because you don't want to stall or anything like that, and you have some turbulence there or whatever, you name it, or vice versa. So yeah, Anchorage is definitely a tricky place. But like I said, Burbank, if you're landing on 1.5 in Burbank, my goodness, you have to basically dive. You have to go from 5,000 feet to sea level in about 2 to 3 minutes. And so that's why yesterday was I'm glad I didn't stream that, but yeah. Okay, so we're at 20,000 feet, so we're good. So let's just finish up this climb here to 28,000. And we'll call it good. We'll turn off the seatbelt sign, let the passengers get up from their seats. Double check here on the map where we're at. Okay, we're doing pretty good. Let me fix that. And again, I know for some people that are watching this are like, oh, well, Steven, you're not using the FMC like, you know, like real pilots do. Listen, I get it. I know it's not realistic whatsoever. I know I'm not a realistic flight sim pilot, but hey, this is just how I fly. I've been doing this since I was doing FSX when I was a kid, since I was 10, 11 years old. So, you know, it's just something I like doing. It's just, I don't know. But again, don't worry. I plan on using the FMC and learning how to use that. Yeah, I love it whenever the wind blows and it kind of flexes and it moves. It's just a beautiful little texture that they have there. But yeah, it looks like we'll be flying a little bit west of Modesto, Fresno a little bit. But yeah, we'll be coming over the water, so that'll be pretty fun. Now, however, it depends, because again, there's some things I like to do realistically. Like I don't land on runways that are not being used in real life. Like I'll look at Flight Radar 24. Like right now, like in Burbank, they're using 15 as a takeoff runway. And so, you know, we took off runway 15, right? So at San Francisco, let me double check that. They are using, they're using runway 1, looks like. We're landing, so right over the water. So yeah, we'll be landing right over the water, so that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, so I have the flight beam San Francisco Airport. So that'll be fun. Two weeks ago, that was a very steep descent. 2,800 frames per second on approach, or feet per second on approach. Here to say I broke my landing gear on that one. Yeah, I will admit, GW, that I feel like, well, definitely my takeoffs are better than my landings. I'll just say that. I think the thing I do a good job at is I do well on the center line, but it's just the rate of descent or the rate of touchdown on the runway that's a little bit not so good. That's something I need to work on. Flaring is obviously, again, very, very important to me, because I want to make sure I do well on landings, because as a pilot, you're kind of trained to have soft landings, because who doesn't like hard landings? Other than maybe Ryanair pilots. Sorry, Ryanair pilots, but I have to say that. I don't know. Maybe I should apply for Ryanair. I don't know. I do have on the PMDG 737s for their liveries. I do have a couple Ryanair 37s, so maybe we should do a flight one time or sometime in the future. But yeah, like one thing realistically that I do is that, like, for instance, if I'm flying in the United States, I'm not gonna spawn, like, I'm not gonna do like, hey, I'm gonna fly from London to Tel Aviv, Israel. I'm not gonna do that, because I want to do it realistically, as if I'm flying in the real life. I want to fly to those locations, right? Like if I want to go up into Alaska, I'm not just gonna spawn in Alaska. I'm gonna fly up there, so it just, I don't know, makes the sim a lot more fun, more cooler that way. So okay, we've reached our cruising altitude at 28,000 feet. Let's give it a minute or so to kind of nestle down here. Yeah, no one can, perfect their landing. I mean, maybe Air Force Proud 95. Some of his landings have been pretty good. Except that one time I think it was coming into Dallas, if you've seen that video, and I don't know why default Dallas had this, because I think, and they might have fixed it now, but like on the runway, you might know what I'm talking about, where it just, the texture is just like, I don't know, the elevation, and his nose went straight up into the ground, and his tail was sticking straight up. It was just, that was a funny video. But anyways, yeah, it just, I don't know. like spinal belts. Glasgow, wow. But hey, that's awesome. But yeah, again, my goal, really ever since I got into the, got the sim, the new sims, I want to fly more international flights. I want to fly internationally because it's so easy to fly in your home country, like here in the US for me, because of course I live here, but I want to explore the world. That's what flight sim is for. Like, I want to travel to London, I want to travel to Israel, I want to travel to Africa, Korea. I want to get down to Antarctica one day, and I think eventually I will. It might take a while, and I actually, again, I plan ahead of time. I plan about a year in advance of like what my flights will be, and I'm thinking about flying down to Antarctica in 2026. I'll slowly make my way down there. There'll probably be like 3 or 4 flights. There'll be long flights, but there'll be like international type flights. So I think using landing rate add-on helps improve landings. Can get it right. Yeah. I again, there's a couple things I'm definitely gonna have to get KGW, because I want to improve as a pilot. I don't want to stay stagnant and say, well, I'm satisfied with what I am now. It's all about improving your landing rate, your performance, your takeoffs, your landings, your climb out, your descent, everything in between, right? So yeah, it's very short. Yeah. The thing I would do for Antarctica, I don't think it would be a commercial, obviously a commercial airplane. I think it would be like a military. I think the C-170. I think that's what it is on the new sim, the Globemaster. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what I would do, or I would either just because it's a long flight from I think it's Cape Town. I think that's the airport in South America. It's like 3 to 4 hours, was it, to Antarctica? So it's just like, what airplane do I fly? Do I want to fly like a Cessna Citation CJ4, or do I fly something else? So again, we have some time. We'll have to think about that. So, and we won't have to do it till like next year. So, but yeah. So again, for our international flights coming up in April, which is in just a few weeks, or I should say a couple weeks, we'll be flying from, we'll make our way to San Francisco, then we're going to fly from San Francisco to Honolulu, spend some time down there on Honolulu. We'll fly on the new sim a little bit more on 2024, because the scenery on 2024 is a little bit better than 2020, obviously, with the trees and just the fauna and everything. But after we spend some time in Hawaii, we'll fly back to the United States domestically, and then we'll fly from Honolulu to Los Angeles on the United 787. That'll be my very first flight on the default 787, and then we'll return back to our domestic United States flights. But then once August comes around, we're going to have another international trip that we're going to be doing, which is going to be awesome. We'll be gone for a long time, a lot longer probably than the Hawaii trips, and we're going to be flying over to the UK for the very first time, which even going back to the FSX days when I used to fly FSX, I never had the opportunity of flying to London or Europe or Asia, so we'll be doing that in August. So I'm looking forward to that. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned for that, because it's going to be awesome. We're going to do some sightseeing over there in Asia. So it's going to be an awesome time. Hey, we got my brother FNL Aviator. So that's awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the raid. Hey, United Bill, how you doing? Good to see you. I love your streams. I appreciate you all. again, I was telling AGW Plays that I love this livery. I just recently got this. I know it's for the default A320, the Asobo A320, but again, it's just a beautiful, beautiful livery. And I thought it would be a good livery to fly today, especially here in California, out to San Francisco. So. But yeah, today, this will be the only flight for today. Could fly more, but I want to enjoy my day off. And plus, I'm getting ready to start doing MLB The Show tonight, because that's going to be releasing MLB The Show 25. So we'll be doing some streams this year for that. So that'll be awesome. Oh boy, I am so fired. I forgot to turn off the seatbelt sign. I am sorry, passengers. I apologize. Unpopular opinion, my favorite U.S. airline livery is the JetBlue. Yeah, it's underrated. I love that they're very unique about that, but one thing I've noticed is that they changed quite a bit. Like, I feel like every few years they change their liveries. I've forgotten before. Yeah, it's like, it's whatever. It's like you need to remember to kind of like think, oh, you know, what if I was a real pilot? It's just like, boy. But you know what? Mistakes happen. But hey, I'm having so much fun. So okay, we're at 28,000 feet over to San Francisco. Ground speed, we're going about 450, 446 true airspeed. On a 14-hour flight. Yeah. I mean, it's probably happened before, at least on Flight Simulator. Definitely not in real life, but I'm curious to see if it's ever happened in real life. Like, I would assume there's been at least a time or two where the captain's been like, oh, I forgot to turn on the or turn off the seatbelt lights. But I'm pretty sure they have to check some like checklist for that, right? I would assume. But yeah. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to getting into 2024 a little bit more. Again, I'm taking my slow time with it because you know, they're still fixing a whole lot of stuff over there. But you know what? I'm gonna be patient. I'm not in a huge rush for it. I love 2020 still. I think Bill, he flies on 2020 still. You know, it's a great sim, man. Yeah, it has its issues, but still, it just, you know, we're fine with it, right? We're not in a huge rush. Let them take their time with 2024. Let them make a perfect sim for that. At least I can go to the bathroom now and not keep my legs crossed. Oh my word. Yeah. You just hope that somebody's not in there already, because there's only a couple bathrooms on this aircraft, so, and it's a shorter flight. It's only roughly a 45 to 50 minute flight to San Fran. Apparently it's not uncommon pilots forget to... Yeah, okay. Things you did not know. but not too surprised though. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'm super excited for the ERJ 145 for Flight FX, because again, like for some of us that stream Flight Simulator or just want to do a quick flight, you know, there's really not a whole lot of options that are available, especially if you want to do a commercial flight. I mean, again, like for Xbox, we don't have any express planes whatsoever. I think the only one that's somewhat available, is the ERJ 145, not 145, 170 and 175 from, what's that awful, like this is, I guess, a knock on them a little bit, but I forget what they're called, but I think it's Flight FS or whatever it is. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's FS something, but they did a pretty poor job. Like, again, it's just so bad. But yeah, like for Xbox, we have zero express planes, so I'm looking forward to getting the ERJ 145. And I know some people would like to have that on 2020 before it comes out to 2024. I think the guy said that they're planning on having it released for 2024. And they would check for 2020 depending on the demand for it. I think it should be the opposite way around. I think they should make it for 2020, and if 2024 is ready to go, if it looks pretty good, if it gets good reviews, which I think it will, because Flight FX makes pretty good aircraft. Again, they made a really good Vision jet, but I think that's the way they should do it. But either way, I have both simulators, so it's not a huge deal. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some of those short United Express flights from like Houston to Pensacola or to Amarillo, Texas, that sort of thing. Those short 45-minute to 1-hour flights. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's great that they're bringing out more, because they've been bringing out a lot of content, a lot of stuff on the marketplace recently. And maybe it was because of the new release of the 2024 marketplace, because now that's available. Again, it's very limited, because I think most, if all the stuff over there is Microsoft made or made by Inabuilds, or however you pronounce it. But yeah, it's going to take some time for some of these developers to make content for the marketplace. But I do think PMDG, I want to say that they said that the 37s will be compatible soon, and they will be available on marketplace. But I don't think we'll necessarily have to pay for it if we already have it on 2020. So that would be nice. Yeah, I was surprised PMDG hasn't been approved yet to have their content on 24, but yeah, and I enjoy LVFR. I do. I know some people don't like it because it's very much kind of like the default ones, but that's, I don't know. Some people are different, and I guess I'm one of those people. I like LVFR. I have the Airbus 319, the 321, and I think I might have the 320. Of course, I have multiple 320s on the sim, but that's one thing I don't think we'll have to worry about, or hopefully we don't have to worry about, because there's just so many Airbus 320s available on the sim. But yeah, I'm excited because I have yet to fly a flight on the A321, but I will be doing that soon. I think coming up here, I think I'm flying from like Atlanta to Denver on the Delta A321, so I'll be doing that. I think coming up next month, I'll be flying from I think Los Angeles to Dallas on the A321. Or no, I take that back. That might have been the 737-800. I might be flying from... no, it's going to be from Dallas to Miami on an A321. Alrighty, I think we can start descending now. Kind of get into that point where we are getting close or closer. Seatbelt signs back on. We're gonna have our flight attendant do her announcement, and let's start descending here. We're gonna go about 8,000 feet here. LVFR has really good content, however, some of their aircraft are quite temperamental, especially on approach. Yeah, and that's what I was flying yesterday. I was flying the LVFR A319 United. I was flying into, of course, Burbank, and again, the approach was it was difficult because, again, 1.5 approach is pretty difficult in the Burbank, and not to mention it's just like, I was messing around with my controller a little bit with some of the, with the heading and with the speed and everything, and all of a sudden it just, was acting a little bit weird. But again, I love their aircraft. The sound that they have for the engines, that is phenomenal. I love their aircraft engine sounds, and it's unique too. It's not like the same engine sound. It's different. Like they have the CFM. Well, of course that's for the I think the corporate jets, but like every Airbus. Like, they have different variants, which I think is really, really cool. But, like, they have different engine sounds, which I think is awesome. Looks like we got a little bit of weather up here. I'm not sure if that's rain. It might be rain or just cloudy skies. Well, my in-flight dinner is ready. Steak, fries, and egg is ready. So have a good flight. All right, Gamer Penguin, thank you so much for coming on in. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the raid, guys. I really appreciate it. Really want to start streaming on here a little bit more. Of course, my brother is a big inspiration, so I'm kind of doing the same thing. But yeah. I mean, you can, but I don't necessarily think you can start descending right away when being from high level. I think you can turn on let's get closer to 10,000 bound initials. I usually hold off sometimes unless the air is rough, but most times I turn on as I get closer to 10,000. Yeah. Yeah. I will give you a follow then. Awesome, Gamer Penguin. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Let's see what the weather is in San Francisco here. Okay, looks like they're getting rain, according to what I'm looking at. They're getting some rain in San Francisco with a temperature of 52 degrees Fahrenheit, wind at 230, 12 knots. Okay, so we're going to have some rain coming into San Francisco. But again, sometimes the sim is not super accurate to what it is in real life, so we'll have to wait and see. Doing a little bit of a wave here for St. Patrick's Day. Why not? Since we're going to be coming into some clouds here and some potential rain, we'll get ready to turn on our lights outside. Because I want to say, of course we're not going to turn them on right now because we're, you know, pretty high up where you don't have to worry about it. But I want to say once you hit those clouds, you generally want to turn on your landing lights because, again, you don't want other aircraft to run into you, just, you know, your beacons and that sort of thing. This is 2020, yes. This is 2020, yep. Past 24 hours. Yes, I'm on 2020, Bill. Yeah. I also do fly 2024, but I'm still sticking with 2020 for right now. Coming up on San Jose. Coming up on the Bay Area, yeah. We're gonna knock on those landing lights on and the wing light on. We're going to be heading into some potential rain here, so 10,000 or below landing should come on. Taxi lights set to take off and runway turn the lights on. You can switch on wing lights at any altitude to eliminate your plane from that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I turned on the again, you know, obviously Ryan knows a lot more than I do when it comes to flight sim and real aircraft, because Ryan's actually had flight training where, you know, I'm just a casual flyer. But, you know, again, I want to make this as realistic as I can. I'm still learning how to use the FMC and all that, or eventually once I get there, but yeah. And they didn't turn the fast right away, and you feel it descending. Yeah. Okay, what's our altitude? Okay, 11,000, yeah, we did a little bit early. But you know what? Why not? But yeah, next time I'll definitely have to wait to turn on some of those lights once we get below 10,000. And we should probably start lowering our speed a little bit. We don't want to go in too fast. We're going to slow down to right around 250. That's a gorgeous view right there. Let me take a screenshot. Okay, now we're below 10,000 feet. I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you. Ready. Airport should, coming up, we're about, looking based off of this map, we're about, close to about 50 miles out. So we're, kind of a little bit too low for our approach because we're still a little bit of ways away, but you know what? We're gonna level off here at around 8,000 feet for a little bit. I'm not sure if that's super realistic or not, but you know, just to give us some altitude because again, we don't want to run into these mountains here. Kind of give our flight attendants a little bit of a chance to get some trash for the last time. Go down the aisles a little bit and prepare the cabin for landing. So if you press that button that says CSTR next to your altimeter, now it will tell you what speed you need to be at in altitude. Interesting. Okay. Which one? Your ND, okay. Again, I seem like I'm a noob here, and I apologize because there's some stuff like some stuff that I just don't usually do because again I'm a casual flyer, but yeah, okay. Again, I think we're doing pretty good. I don't want to go too fast or too high out here. But yeah, we're definitely coming up on where we need to start getting lower here. So let's go about 2,000 feet here. Lower our speed a little bit more since we're below 10,000 feet. And get ready to drop some flaps here. 220, and there comes the rain. Wing lights are on, landing lights are on. little bit of wind out there. Like the weather app said, it looks like they were having some, I think it was 12 knots of wind coming from the, I want to say it was the southwest. I think it was like 230. I don't know, that's from the, whatever direction that is, I forget. Okay, we can see the bay in sight. Perfect. Awesome. Alrighty. Lower that a little bit more. Nothing more nerve-wracking than having to go through clouds and have a mountain range below. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it can be a little bit scary. It's just like, okay, hopefully I can see the runway in time, you know? But again, I love San Francisco approach. It's just that I haven't flown in here a whole lot. Because, you know, once you see the bay, you know you're close or getting closer. But, I mean, look at the off the water. That is just fantastic.
2,500.
Okay, we're getting our 2,000 foot call. Okay. I think we're a little bit too high. No, we might be good. Okay, do we have the airport in sight? That might be the airport. Okay, we're gonna drop a lot of tail flaps here, so trying to figure out where I don't see it yet. Okay, no wonder. Yeah, we're not lined up. Silly me. Okay, I see runway in sight. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I was heading the wrong direction. What an idiot. Okay, there we go. Okay, runway in sight. Let's start putting some flaps down. And I think, I want to say gear comes down right around when you're like 6 to 8 nautical miles out, and I think we're at that point, or getting ready to be at that point. Flaps 1 and landing gear. I think we're on, what flaps are we on? We're on flaps 2, so. Lower the speed a little bit more, to about 170. And of course, landing speed, you want to be right around 150, 140, depending where you're at, location, runway length, that sort of thing, etc. Armed and not break too low. I think we're gonna be laying on 2.8 right. Okay. I love that view. Just hit down some more flaps here. Wait a little bit longer to let go of the autopilot. Flaps down. Flaps are full. Okay, normally for me I like to go on autopilot a little bit earlier than normal people would, but we're gonna do it here in just a second. Get one last screenshot here and boom. Autopilot. Okay. Look at my speed. Look at the altitude. A little bit high. Ooh, yeah, we're very high. I hate that. Oh no, 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 no. Why is this not working? My joystick is all of a sudden dead. It has quit on me, guys. I apologize. My joystick is not working. Oh, you know what? It's not plugged in. Somebody unplugged it. Oh boy. There we go. Yep. Oh boy. Yeah, it got unplugged. No wonder it was not working. We're going around. Gear up. I apologize, guys. That was not pretty. There we go. We're gonna go back on autopilot here just for a minute. About back up to 250, and then we're gonna make sure we get it right next time. Let's get it right next time. About 3,000 feet. Gears up. Yeah, I was wondering why my throttle wasn't working. Yeah, approach mode. Yeah, that's another thing. But again, like that was odd. I was wondering why my throttle wasn't working or my control was working, and it got unplugged from my Xbox. So I'm like wondering why in the world is it not working? And I'm like, I don't think my joystick turned off, so. Yeah, again, I apologize, guys. Not the greatest. We're gonna get this thing right again. Okay, let's double check here.